Good afternoon everyone, I'm Isaac Arbento Dalawis and today I'll be discussing about what is taxation. So first, let's define what is taxation. So taxation refers to the government's right and authority to demand financial contributions from its citizens, businesses, and properties. This power is essential for funding public services like infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Okay, when we say taxation, taxation is fundamentally the process by which a governing authority, typically the government, imposes financial obligations on its citizens and residents. So this involves collecting or levying funds to finance public services and infrastructures. So taxation has been a cornerstone of organized society since ancient times, evident in the early civilizations. So the primary purpose of taxations remains to generate revenue that enables government to provide essential services like healthcare, education, defense, and social welfare program. So without taxation, the government would struggle to fulfill their responsibility and maintain the stability and progress of our society. So again, when we say taxation, this is like the government's right to funds or to get funds from us as the citizen of this country. And meaning, yung tayo na naninirahan dito sa country natin is kailangan magbayad ng buwis or tax. And yung tax na binabayaran natin is mapupunta siya para pondohan yung government projects. Okay? It is not only the government project but also yung healthcare, yung education also. And also another thing is taxation was not implemented during the 1987 Philippine Constitution or hindi siya nagawa ngayon lang. Okay, taxation has been there for a long time ago and up until now meron pa ring taxation. That's why today let's talk about the history of taxation. Just like what I've said earlier, taxation has been there for so many long and up until now meron pa ring taxation. So the taxation in the Philippines started from the ancient Filipinos and then to invasion of Spaniards, to cedula, to 1987 Philippine Constitution, and last but not the least is the train law. Today, let's focus on the history of taxation starting with the ancient Filipinos. Good afternoon everyone, I'm Isaac Arbento Dalawis and today I'll be discussing about the history of taxation starting with the ancient Filipinos. Ancient Filipinos where they pay their taxes to their dato or chiefs for the protection given to them. Tax was termed buwis. Everyone is required to pay their taxes except for the dato or chieftain's household. Back in the day of ancient Filipinos, the way they handled taxes was quite different from what we know today. Instead of paying money, people would give things to their dato or leaders who were called dato or chiefs. This was like a payment for the protection and services that the dato or chiefs provided to the community. So think of it as a thank you for keeping everyone safe and organized. So the name for this tax was buwis, and it was an important part of their society. Nearly everyone was expected to contribute and give buwis to the dato or chiefs. However, there was one group that didn't have to follow this rule, the family of the dato or chief themselves. They were exempt from paying taxes. This was because the buwis was meant to support the dato or chiefs and their family, so it wouldn't make sense for them to pay it in the first place. This system shows how the ancient Filipinos valued their leaders and how they organized their society to ensure everyone's well-being. Next, we have the invasion of Spaniards. So, the Spanish people from 1521 gave the Filipinos modern concept of taxation, wherein 16 years to 60 years old were forced to pay tributes or tributos to the King of the Spain through the colonial government worth 8 reals or 1 peso per year. But there are also other forms of payment like gold, chicken, textile, and rice, and forced labor or polo y servicio. So when the Spanish arrived in the Philippines around 1521, they introduced a whole new way of thinking about taxes. Before this, Filipino had their own traditional methods, but the Spanish brought what they considered to be modern concept of taxation. So one of the main changes was that they required Filipinos between the age of 16 to 60 years old to pay taxes as a tribute to the King of Spain. So this tribute was organized and collected by the Spanish colonial government and was worth 8 reals, which was equal to 1 peso each year. However, what's interesting is that people didn't always have to pay with money. The Spanish allowed them to pay using other things that were valuable at that time. This includes items like gold, chicken, textile, or cloth, and rice. So in addition to paying with goods, there was also another form of payment called polo y servicio, which meant forced labor. This required Filipinos to work for the Spanish government on various projects, and it was another way for them to meet their taxes obligations. So the Spanish invasion brought a more structured and demanding tax system to the Philippines, where Filipinos had to pay tributes in different forms to support the Spanish king and government. Next up, we have the cedula. In 1884, the tribute was abolished and replaced by the cedula or cedula, a certificate identifying the taxpayer that needs to be carried all the time. If someone is not able to present their cedula to a Guardia Civil, they will be imprisoned for being indocumentado, which means that they lack valid document or legal personal identification necessary to prove their identity. So in 1884, the Spanish government stopped collecting the tribute tax and started using a new system called the cedula or cedula. This cedula was like a certificate that showed you had paid your taxes. So everyone who paid taxes had to carry this certificate with them at all times. So if a person couldn't show their cedula to a Guardia Civil, a Spanish soldier or policeman, they would be arrested and called indocumentado. This meant they didn't have the right papers or ID to prove that they were. So the cedula was very important because it was proof that you had paid your taxes and that you were a legal resident in the Philippines. Next, we have the 1987 Philippine Constitution sets limitation on the exercise of power to tax. The rule of taxation shall be uniform and equitable. So the Congress shall evolve a progressive system of taxation. So national taxes refers to national internal revenue taxes imposed and collected by the national government through BIR or Bureau of Internal Revenue. Local taxes is those imposed and collected by the local government. So under the 1987 Philippine Constitution, there are rules about how taxes should be collected. The Constitution says that taxes should be the same for everyone and fair, and government should create a tax system that helps people as they earn more. This means that those who earn more should pay more taxes. So there are two main types of taxes in the Philippines: national and local taxes. National taxes are collected by the national government through the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. Local taxes, on the other hand, are collected by the local government units or LGUs. So the Constitution ensures that the power to tax is used responsibly. It states that taxation should be uniform, meaning everyone in similar situation should be taxed the same way. It should also be equitable, meaning the tax burden should be fair and based on a person's ability to pay. So the goal is to have a progressive tax system where people pay taxes based on how much they earn, ensuring that the tax system is fair for everyone. Last one, we have the Train Law, signed last January 1, 2018, which seeks to correct a number of deficiencies in the tax system to make it simpler, fairer, and more efficient, wherein the rich will have a bigger contribution and the poor will benefit more from the government's project and services. So the Train Law, which stands for Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, was signed into law on January 1, 2018. The goal of this law is to fix some problem in the tax system, making it easier to understand, more fair, and work better overall. So on the main ideas behind the train law is that wealthier people should contribute more in taxes, while those with lower income should benefit more from the government's program and services. So in simple terms, the train law aims to create a tax system where the rich pay more and the poor receive more benefits from the government. This is intended to help reduce income inequality and ensure that everyone has a better chance at improving their lives. So the government believes that with the train law, they can collect more money from those who can afford it and use that money to fund important programs like healthcare, education, and infrastructure, which will benefit the poor. So the train law also aims to remove oppressive rates for delinquent tax payments. And that's all for my report. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, I am Joshua Arochea, and today I'll be discussing about the local taxes. So what is local taxes? Local taxes, the local government taxation in the Philippines, are based on the Republic Act 7160, or otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991. As amendment, these taxes, fees, or charges are imposed by the local government units such as provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays, who have been given the power to levy such taxes by the code. So, in simpler terms, local taxes are how your local government gets taxed to fund local projects. So, our local government, so when we say local, it is something or situated near us. So, example of local governments are barangays or city hall government organizations. So, they tax us so they can fund money to build infrastructures or make projects or provide services for the people. So this is one way for them to be able to help the community. So tax on transfer of real property ownership, imposed on the sale, donation, barter, or any other mode of transferring ownership or title of real property. So in this tax you pay when the ownership of a real property like land or house is transferred from one person to another. So we are paying tax in order to transfer the title to the buyer of the land or whatever you are selling. So it is part of a process or requirements that we have to pay tax. So what is this we call what is this we are trying to call that we are paying tax to transfer the real ownership. So this is called real property tax. So we are paying this tax in order to transfer the title to the buyer of the land when we are selling the house or land. So by doing this, we are able to sell the land or house to the buyer in a legal and right way. Tax on business of printing and publication. The business of a person engaged in the printing or publication of books, cards, poster, leaflets, handbills, certificates, receipts, and pamphlets, and other of similar is a part of taxation. So this is a tax that applies to business that are involved in printing and publishing things. So people that has a business about printing or publishing things or books like that, they are paying tax because they have, for example, here is the printing shop near us or near in our place. They have certificate of registration and a mayor's permit. So in that certificate, it has there the total profit they have, either it's weekly, monthly, or yearly. It is totaled or it is summarized the total profit they have in order for the government to put percentage. In that way, they will see how much money will be taxed from them. So it depends on the contract, or whether what they decided, if it was weekly, monthly, or yearly. So it's up to them, so how much money it will be taxed from them. But so far I know is that the taxes will be higher if it's yearly, unlike the weekly. Professional tax and annual. An annual professional tax on each person engaged in the exercise of practice of his profession requiring government examination. So this is an annual tax that professionals have to pay. So who are these professionals that we are mentioning? So this includes the people that are taking examination from the government, like the teachers, the lawyers, the doctor, etc. So they are under the government. So every year they pay these taxes that is collected from their salary, because it is some how much their total salary in a year. It is deducted by how much percentage of tax that will be taken from them. So why are these professional paying tax? So it is called mandatory civic duty. So they are it is mandatory for them to pay the tax because they are under the government, because they took the government examination. Amusement tax. Tax collected from perpetrators, listen or operators of theaters, cinemas, concert halls, circuses, boxing stadia, and other places of amusement. So this is a tax that is collected from business that offer amusement or entertainment. So this is also the same with the printing and publishing books, because this for example, the cinema has a certificate of registration and a mayor's permit, so they cannot operate or do amusement if they do not have that. So in that case, there is a total sum of their profit they gain every week, month, or year, that the government puts a percentage how much to know how much money gets taxed from them. So if they do not have that, the owners of the cinemas, or for example theaters or circuses, cannot operate, because it is part of their contract that they have to pay this tax, because they are working under the city or the government.
Good day everyone. By the way, I'm J. Marie Nahiyal. So today I will going to discuss what national taxes are. So now without a further ado, let's proceed to my assigned topic, which is what are national taxes. When we hear the national taxes, what comes in our mind? National taxes are those that we pay to the government through the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Taxes imposed by the national government on individuals, businesses, and organizations to fund public goods and services. What is the functions of Bureau of Internal Revenue, or shall we say the BIR? So Bureau of Internal Revenue, or BIR, the agency who is responsible for collecting taxes in the Philippines, including the capital gains tax, the documentary stamp tax, donors tax, and income tax, and also the VAT tax, or value-added tax.
Lastly, service fees or charges. Fees or charges that may be collected by the Barmugas Fox services rendered in connection with the regulatives of the use of barangay-owned Morphe's half-size facility, such as palay, copra, or tobacco dryers. So these are fees that a barangay can collect for services they provide. So what services are we talking about here? So these are the Morphe's half-size facility. So what is this Morphe's half-size facility? It is a agricultural facility that barangays let the people use, but it's not free. The people paid the service fee for them to be able to use this. So why are they using this? So because not everyone can afford their own land or more piece of size facilities. So in that way, they are paying services in the barangay so that they can be able to use this facility to dry their tobaccos or copra. So in simpler terms, if your barangay owns a facility for drying rice, coconut, or tobacco, they can charge a fee for using that facility.
So now let's proceed to the examples of national taxes. So first we have capital gains tax. Is a tax imposed on the gains presumed to have been realized by the seller from the sale, exchange, or other disposition of capital assets located in the Philippines. If you buy something for a low price and sell it in a higher price, so the profit you make is subject to capital gains tax. So if you buy a piece of land worth of 1 million pesos and sell it for 1.5 million pesos, so the 500,000 pesos is the profit, would be subject to capital gains tax. So now let's proceed to the documentary stamp tax. Is a tax on documents, instruments, loan agreements, and papers evidencing the acceptance, assignment, sale, or transfer of an obligation's rights. On incident tereto. Think of it like a fee for making a document official. When you sign a contract of deed, you pay a tax on the document itself, which serves as a proof of the transaction. So examples, deed of sale. A document that proves the transfer of ownership of a property like land, building, or vehicle from the seller to the buyer. For instance, Annie buy a house from Desi and they sign a deed of sale to transfer the ownership. So that is documentary stamp tax. Donor's tax is a tax on a donation or gift and is imposed on the gratuitous transfer of property between two or more persons who are living at the time of the transfer. Donor's tax is a tax on gifts or donations given by one person to another, where the giver or donor transfer ownership of assets without receiving anything in return. Example, cash, real estate, stocks, vehicles, or other assets. Income tax is a tax on all yearly profits arising from property, profession, trades, or offices, or as a tax on a person's income, emoluments, profits, and the like. A tax on an individual's or businesses earning from various sources paid to the government. Just like for example, salary from job, business profits, rental income, and also the capital gains. And that is the income tax. So for the last but not the least, we have VAT or value added tax, a tax on the value added to goods and services during production, manufacturing, and distribution, collected by businesses and remitted to the government. A tax on goods and services collected in stages by businesses, based on the value added to each point and passed on to the end consumer. So, for the goods, we have electronics, clothing, and also food products. And for the services, we have restaurant meals, hotel stays, and also professional services. And we have a example of that. Okay. A bag of rice costs 100 pesos with 12% VAT of 12 pesos. So the total that you pay is 112 pesos. 100 plus 12, the VAT. So the VAT is added to the price of products or services. So that is a VAT or value added tax.